Innovation, imagination, wonder. These are just some of the words used to describe Dr. Harvey Passes. Dr. Passes explores interesting people and ideas that will stimulate you. He questions the people who develop, create, and employ novel concepts in business and everyday lives. He especially loves to speak with successful people. How did they do it? How can you do it too? So let's join Dr. Harvey Passes in his quest of wonder and curiosity as we watch Dr. Harvey Passes Presents.
I absolutely enjoy bringing to you the best that Long Island has to offer. And today is it's no exception. I'm going to be bringing something to you today, some of the best resources that we have here on Long Island. No, today you're not going to get a chance to see the vineyards that I always take you to. You're not going to get a chance to meet the wineries, the winemakers. You're not going to get a chance to see all the great beaches. You're going to see something far more exciting. You're going to learn today from someone who is a Long Islander. He is one of our best resources we have, our own Long Island people. And you're going to meet an interesting man, Mr. Ed Wassmer, on a special edition of Dr. Harvey Passes Presents. So first, let me introduce Ed Wassmer to you, and then I'll tell you why he's so special. Ed.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Did you like that opening?
I loved it.
Thank
you so much.
Came right to the point?
I loved it. It was perfect.
Okay, now don't go anywhere so I can get back to my viewer and explain to them what is going on. Here's what's going on. I gave a presentation one day at the Manhasset Chamber of Commerce. And it was a lot of fun. It was terrific. And at the end of the presentation, a gentleman who was sitting in the audience got up and came over to me and told me how much he appreciated the talk. And then he told me who he was and the business that he operates out of. And we got into a further conversation, and I was so impressed with his business acumen, his business abilities, that I thought it would be really neat to have him on the show and to do a segment that I do every now and then called The Anatomy of Success. And you're going to learn from Ed Wassmer how he took a company that at one point was the second leading shop of its kind in New York State, and then over the years it dropped, and now, boy, it's on its way back up again big time. And from this gentleman's business leadership and his skills. So we're going to talk about it today, and we can learn some things. Maybe you want to go find a paper and pencil. You might want to take some notes. So, Ed, great to see you again.
Good to see you, Harvey.
Terrific, terrific. Your background is one of being, and I really didn't know much about this. I guess I don't fit into that category, but private wealth banking.
That's correct.
Briefly, what is a private wealth banker?
Right. Private banking is very niche in the industry. What we do is we work with clients. What I did was we would work with clients to identify where their wealth is at,
right?
What strata are they in terms of wealth, and then where are they in their life cycle. So if someone is young with young kids, we might be a little more risk tolerant in what we invest them in. We want to get them ready for college, maybe for a larger home. Certainly if they're entrepreneurs, we want to wrap into the mix. What's their exit strategy? Are there partners involved? Is it a family business? So the private banker gets involved in all facets of someone's life, not just how much money they have, let me go invest it for them, but more, where are you situated, where are you trying to get to, and let us help you get there.
So you really get into them as a person, every aspect about their life.
Correct.
Because finances is really a 100% thing.
Yes, it is.
It's not, an isolated little thing, and we'll worry about that some other time. Your whole life is reflected one way or another with your finances.
That's right. And everyone's situation is slightly different.
Right. So you left that field after being in it for years and years and managing. What did you tell me once? You had a few hundred employees, people under your direction or something?
That's right. I ran the back office for a large private bank. So we had almost 600 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. Okay, so you left that, and then you kind of like coasted a little bit and just had some fun, and you have a family, and
that's right.
And you live in Manhasset.
Correct.
Right? Okay, and then you were looking for something to do.
Right.
And from what I've learned, you couldn't have gone so far afield from what you did do. You went ahead and you purchased a company called
Young's Fine Wines.
Young's Fine Wines. Now,
right.
That's not managing somebody's money. That's not private wealth banking. You know, now you're running a store, you're running a business, you're at retail.
That's right.
It's killer.
The hours are long.
The
business is not that different, though, really. The trick is to look at that business from where it's been and where it's headed. So the first thing that we looked at, I have a partner, great guy, I've been friends with him for years. We looked at businesses in food and wine that we thought were potential growth opportunities.
Okay.
And really what drove that is we're looking at the surrounding town that we're in and what's gone on there. What have people invested in? Well, they've invested an enormous amount of money in cooking, in their kitchens, in their homes, in kind of
everybody's doing their kitchens over.
Exactly. And everyone's gone high end. Everyone is very anxious to learn more about food and wine. Look at the success of the food channel.
Yep.
You know, certainly the stores in town that have opened up.
So what we're going to go through today is going to be, if you will, an anatomy, or we're going to chronicle your success, because I do view you as a successful individual. And what are those characteristics that you possess, that you've looked for, that embodies you, that enables you to be where you are today? And anybody watching can take those same traits and use that, whether they're selling pens or paper or corks.
Right.
Business is business, correct?
Yes,
and it doesn't really matter. So the first thing you did was to say, what am I interested in, and where is the market? Is that what you? And so you started looking for food and wine.
Correct. Exactly right.
Okay. Now, why did you pick Manhasset? Why didn't you go to into the city to purchase a wine shop?
Well, my partner is also from Manhasset.
Okay.
So we know the customer intimately. We were the customer.
Right. So you used to go to Young's to purchase for yourself.
That's right.
Okay. So the first thing you're saying is know your market and know your location.
Absolutely.
So you felt you knew the location.
That's right. And of course you're going to concentrate most of your marketing and advertising in the local area.
I see.
So knowing the demographics and the psychographics is huge. It's vital in any business.
Now, what was your formal education like?
It was, I guess, in some ways traditional up to a point, in that I went through the local high school, went on through my undergraduate degree, all in succession, graduated at 21 and started working. But then the corporation that I worked for sent me to University of Virginia Darden Business School for, I guess, what some people call an executive boot camp. But it's really an executive MBA, where you do case study analysis and learn a lot very quickly.
Wow.
And people come in from all over the world for these programs. You leave your job for 8 weeks, go live at this school, form a team of 5 people, and they are your study mates and your project mates. And
over how long a period of time is this?
It's a full summer.
Oh, so you did this in the summer? Wow.
Yes.
Okay. Wow. That's
fantastic experience.
That must have been phenomenal.
It was great.
Oh,
it was great.
Okay, so you learned heavy duty stuff.
Yes.
And those things that you learned, do you still use them today?
Yes, absolutely. In fact, one of my teammates recategorized the entire program by subject matter, where it had been, I think it was categorized perhaps by author. So that now, if I want to do some strategic thinking and put that cap on, I can go to the course material that we covered for all the strategic thinking, regardless of which professor taught it.
That does make it easier. That's a much smarter thing to do.
So I kept that library.
Okay, so you have this knowledge and this information, and now, obviously, you've used it in your wealth banking career.
Right.
And now you're finding you're using it at the wine shop?
Absolutely. Yes. You know, there are always limited profits in any company to invest. So you've got to have a game plan, a vision, a strategy, and then a tactical method of approaching that strategy in order to win. And certainly every business, whether it's wine, private banking, or as you said, selling pens, is really only one business. It's attracting new customers and keeping the customers you have. We're all engaged in only one business.
Right. It's interesting, when I had mentioned to you at one point that there was an organization that I belonged to, a networking group.
Right.
And we were discussing that, and you were saying to me, when I told you, for example, how many new patients I had received, and you said to me, wow, that's terrific, because in my business, meaning your business, one new customer is not just for the sale of one bottle.
Correct.
It's now setting up a relationship, and it's how many beverages, how many wines they're going to buy over years.
Right. That's
It's not
right.
just one bottle.
That's
so one customer is really has a lot of value to you.
That's correct. And it's very important for any business person to understand the lifetime value of a customer. We guess that, and we have actually some facts behind it,
Oh, this is
but
good.
it's our guess that the average customer stays with us probably because they stay in town for 6 years or more.
So you did your homework.
Yes. So if you have a customer for 6 years and they're visiting your store twice a month, you're talking about many, many thousands of dollars in sales. So
that's important to understand.
It
that.
is.
So it's a back way of looking at it to say this is what can accomplish. Now let's go in the front way and let's do what we can to keep them.
Correct. Exactly right.
Important. Okay, you brought down some wines for us to taste during our conversation. So we'll start with the what is it? The Lucia?
Yes, the Lucia.
Lucia. Okay, so these glasses are absolutely beautiful. So I'll pour us a little bit here. I'll pour this for you. Can I trouble you for that glass?
Of course.
Thank you. Explain the glass to the viewer. Why are we not using a stem? Someone might say, what is that?
Right. This was an innovative design by Riedel Glassware called stemless glassware. And it's, even though it's rather delicate, it's also rather durable and survives the dishwasher and is just easier to deal with, less likely to get knocked over. So.
Wow, interesting. Terrific. Thanks a lot. That's great. Well, let's taste this wine. This wine comes from Spain?
This is a Spanish wine. The grape is known as an Albarino.
Albarino.
Right.
I like saying
It's become very popular with our customers.
Oh, nice. Melon nose.
Right. Beautiful
Better than being
fruit.
a melon head. But anyway, melon nose.
Beautiful fruit on the wine.
Yeah. Wow, almost like a honeydew. Oh, this is outstanding.
Isn't that wonderful?
Oh, this is an outstanding wine for, especially if this is chilled, not heavily chilled, lightly chilled, sitting around the pool.
That's right.
Having an afternoon barbecue.
That's right.
Or maybe having some cold cuts when you're sitting around outside on a beach.
Sure.
Oh, this is great. Wonderful wine. Nice choice.
Thank you.
Excellent, excellent wine. Well, I got to talk to you about
We're very
this wine
pleased
later.
with it because the Albarinos, we feel, for customers that are learning wine, offer a nice middle ground between a Pinot Grigio and a Chardonnay. There's a little bit of creaminess, but it's not oaky like a Chard. It's not quite as bright and acidic as a Pinot Grigio.
Yeah, I don't like Pinot Grigios.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Right.
I know it's the largest selling white in America.
Right.
I know, and I'm just they don't get a penny from me because I would rather drink this any
Sure.
day than that.
Yeah,
than the Pinot Grigio.
it has some structure, it has some balance. It's not overly acidic. It's not required that you have it with food as a result. It's a nice white.
No, it's a delightful white. This leads me back to a question. As you were talking, I'm saying to myself, after spending some time with you previous to the show,
Okay.
I know that you didn't come to this, meaning purchasing the wine shop, as an individual with 30 years experience in the wine, retail, or even wholesale industry.
Correct.
You didn't.
Right.
You purchased, I'm sure, your fair share of wines in your
Yes,
lifetime,
absolutely.
but you didn't sell one bottle of it.
Right.
Okay, now, so how important is it for an individual to enter into a business mildly knowledgeable about their product, or do you have people who work with you who are knowledgeable? Or are you in the process of taking a crash course like you did for your executive MBA in Virginia?
Right.
You know, what
Great
does that
question.
have? Okay, what does that have to do, like with wine? How do you become knowledgeable?
Right. I think that to put it in a larger metaphor, Rick Wagner at GM could not build a car.
Right.
He's not technical in that regard,
Right.
but he's a businessman.
Right.
So he's much more interested in what do his customers value.
Right.
And he's steering the company in kind of general directions based on what he believes customers will want. Toyota has certainly done a great job with that.
True.
Thousands of companies have.
Right.
Target created a niche in the big box stores because they found an area where the customer wasn't being served. So although they don't know how to make the clothing that they sell or the housewares, they do know how to attract customers and create a niche. So yes, it's all about teamwork. It's about having the technical expertise within your business to find the products, but I direct that technical expertise along with my partner as to what products we're interested in. So, for instance, there are now big box stores that sell wine. They tend to go after the most popular brands and buy them in huge quantities,
Right.
and then sell them at discounted prices.
Because they bought them in such huge quantities.
Exactly.
People should know that.
It's a simple business premise.
Correct.
The problem is that the wine world is exploding, and there are thousands of new wineries and great winemakers every year that are pushing their wares.
True.
And they'll never get entrance into a store like that. They don't produce enough. They don't have the customer recognition. But within that world are some incredible opportunities for customers to really enjoy some great wines.
So you create a niche for yourself by having, this is a statement question.
Okay.
Have you created a niche for yourself in your business where you can find those artisanal wines,
Yes.
those interesting wines that are not made with 1 million cases, but there's 500 cases?
Precisely.
And they don't have the money to get into the media to let people know. I'm not going to mention names of wines right now.
Correct.
But there are some that are just beyond, they're colossus. They're so huge. They've got money to do whatever they want. But these other small guys, they don't have. It's like having a little mom and pop store. But their wines are outstanding.
That's
So you, in turn, will look for those wines.
That's exactly
as well
right.
as have those other wines that are those colossus.
Yes. Certainly we're a large enough store
To get a good discount.
to support both. Yes.
Right.
We can buy the volume to present to our customers the good values.
Mm-hmm.
We can also take some of our cost of goods, if you will, and expend it on these artisanal wines.
Mm-hmm.
So the fun, of course, is being in the education business, not the wine business.
Exactly.
And that's really what we do best.
Yeah.
So we watch our customers. We maintain a very rich customer database. We know what our people...
You better explain that.
Sure.
I don't want people thinking that you have a database of rich customers.
Understood.
What does that mean, a rich customer database?
Well, when we first bought the store, no one understood who their customer was. There was no customer tracking done.
Demographics to understand
That's correct.
who they are, where they are, what their likes are, what does the average Manhasset person want to purchase in this way of wine?
That's right.
Is it a Lafite, a 61 Lafite? Or is it, whatever, some
That's right.
average wine that's, $6 to $9 a bottle?
Exactly. And as a result, it was very difficult for them to position themselves and know what to buy.
Mm-hmm.
We started by collecting sales data to understand what people were buying in general and what they were buying specifically. We were then able to work with that information to start buying wines that we felt would be the next progression.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, we have a huge number of customers who love California wine, which is terrific.
Right.
And there are certainly some wonderful wines from California.
Plenty.
And we're very happy
Yep.
with our California selection. But like this Mason Sauvignon Blanc, for us it was a Sauvignon Blanc from Napa that was not well known, but was California. So we looked for products like that. We also looked for regions of the world that are up and coming.
Right. So you're exactly going back to what we said, the niche and
Yes.
artisanal wines, and bringing to people through education a better experience, as opposed to someone
That's right.
saying, I'm a Pinot Grigio man, or I'm a Merlot man.
Right.
And then that's what they drink. It's not like drinking scotch.
We have customers like that.
I know. I hear people like that all the time in my trek around the world with wine when I talk to people, and they say
Thank
to me,
you.
well, what wine do you drink? What do you mean, what wine do I drink? What am I eating?
Right.
What's the experience? What time of day is it?
Right.
What are we doing?
What
Am I by
corner of the
pool?
world am I in?
Yeah, where am I? If I'm having some Italian food, I'm not going to sit down and have a Cabernet.
Exactly.
I'm not going to do that.
Right.
I mean, that'll be nuts. Let's talk about this. You said this is Mason, and this is a Sauvignon Blanc from Napa Valley.
Exactly.
Okay, now this has a very interesting nose.
A little bit of citrus on it.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. There's interesting back bouquet on this.
Yes, exactly.
But a petrol on this?
Yeah, a little, absolutely. I think what you'll find, though, is that...
Oh, my God. The taste on this. Now, I know this is not a sweet wine.
Correct.
But there's enough fruit in this thing
Exactly.
to really present just an amazing amount of... there's got to be residual sugar in this. I mean, or I can't believe there's any dosage that was any sugar added, because this has more fruitiness
Right.
than the Lycia.
Yes, that's correct. That's absolutely right.
Or I think it's Lycia.
Lycia.
Lycia, because the accent's on the first I. But this is absolutely wonderful.
Right.
This is great. This would go good with a smoked trout with a white horseradish cream sauce.
Absolutely.
How do you like that, huh?
I like that.
Nice chilled. Oh,
I'll be over for dinner.
Absolutely. You come over. I'll supply the plates and the forks. You bring the smoked trout and the wine and the sauce.
Actually, my partner spent, I think, 12 years in cooking school.
Wow.
As an avocation.
Really?
So,
Which cooking school?
several. And I forget the woman that he finished with, but he finished with a top chef in kind of private instruction.
Wow.
So he's a gourmet
That's
chef.
great. We got to get together.
It's a good benefit to have.
Absolutely. We got to get together.
Try to find a partner who knows food.
Yeah, well, that's the best. I think that's great. This wine's lovely. So the market, getting back to business. So the market that you're looking for is, would you say that maybe, I'm throwing these numbers out,
Sure.
that maybe 80% of your market will be for those wines that are of low cost to the to the customer, and 20% will be your woof, like your $30 plus.
Probably those are good numbers to work with, and within that range, you'll find that people will look for a table wine for weeknight drinking, and then on weekends, they'll tend to spend a little bit more.
Specialty wines.
Yeah, not a lot more.
Artisanal wines.
Right, not a lot more.
Right.
And then at the holidays, of course, they may pull the stops out and
Right.
for gift giving or for their own table,
Right.
buy that really special bottle.
But would it be foolish for you to stock up your wares, your supply, in your store cellar on just those expensive ones? I mean, you're not going to have 80% of your bottles be those expensive wines.
No, definitely not.
No.
Certainly, the market is there for the expensive wines, and that market is growing. But we also like a good value. None of us are billionaires in town, my customers or ourselves, and we like to find wines in the under $20 range that are good wines.
Right.
Have
There's a
good
lot.
structure. Absolutely.
There's a lot that you can get. I have so much fun when I have people sit at my dinner table, and especially people who are snobs. And I pull out a bottle of wine, and I have it in a brown bag. And I just say, well, let's taste this wine, and what do you think? I'll have to play that game. What do you think?
Right.
Don't give me a number. This is an 81. Don't give me that nonsense. What do you think? For my first question, do you like it, or do you not like it?
Right.
Yeah, I like it. Nice wine. We go on and on.
That, by the way, is rule number one.
Do you like it?
Does it taste good? There are some people who are very kind of eccentric in their tastes, and they would like something that was very musty and dark and
send them to my cellar. Send them to my attic. I give them dusty. No.
But let's face it.
No, but you're right. Barnyardy and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
Yeah, I like that too. But it depends what I'm eating. What I'm having.
It has a place, exactly.
Right. It has. I don't want all my wines tasting like that or smelling like that.
That's right.
There's a time and a place for everything.
And certain wines stylistically are supposed to represent that. And you have to be true to the style of the wine.
That's a very, very good point. It's a very good point. And now look at this. This wine is nice and dark.
Yes.
Carcello?
Carcello.
Carcello. It's a Monastrell, I see it says.
Monastrell.
Then this also is a Spanish wine.
That's right.
Okay, let people know what Monastrell is. That's not the name of a monastery. What's Monastrell?
That's right. The Spanish call the grape Monastrell. Through French wines, you would know it as Mourvedre, which is your Chateauneuf du Pape, your Bandoles, same grape.
Yeah,
but of course,
Rhone wines.
Very different. Yes, Rhone wines. Very different terroir from
See,
Spain.
that's the beauty of wine. You take the same grape,
Absolutely.
and to me, one of the best examples is you'll take a Sauvignon Blanc. We've had one here. And you'll taste it and you'll love it, and maybe you'll first have it from the Loire Valley. You'll enjoy it. It'll be terrific. You say, oh, this is great. Then California makes it. Oh, how different it is, yet it's still similar. It's good. Then New Zealand makes it. And the whole thing becomes a totally different wine.
Right.
And it's just all you did was put in a different soil. True, you have a totally different climate, different people, different everything, but yet, why doesn't the grape taste the same?
That's right.
And it doesn't.
It's that
And it's
magic.
the same thing here with the Mourvedre as well as the Monastrell, which I think is fantastic. Now let's go into this wine. We only got about 4.5 minutes left.
Okay, fine.
Time goes by fast.
All righty. And we have two more to cover, but this is a nice wine, very a little bit earthy, but
I love it. This is outstanding. Again, there's a I'm not sure if it's raspberry, strawberry.
Yeah.
There's a bit of a melon back.
That's right. Exactly.
Medium-based wine. Good body. I bet this wine is unfiltered. It gives me the impression that it is.
Don't know, actually.
Okay.
Very well could be.
I like wines like that. And seems like there's mild oak in it as well.
Yes.
Well, this is excellent wine.
The bottom line is it tastes good. And why I brought this, by the way, is because as we've stretched some of our California buyers into other regions of the world, we've had fun with this wine.
Oh, you
A lot of people who have enjoyed the big California reds have also enjoyed this Monastrell.
Oh, it's excellent.
So.
It's excellent. Let's try this. And then while I'm pouring this, I want to ask you, so someone going into business today, what are some of the characteristics that they should embody, that they should have, that would assist them in their business?
I think that probably what's helped us the most is that we maintain an honesty with ourselves about what has worked and what's failed. You really, if you have a catastrophic failure, well, probably your vision was wrong from the get-go. But typically, that's not what happens. Typically, what happens is you try a change and it doesn't work. A lot of people just walk away from that change and say, okay, that didn't work. My partner and I tend to be much more aggressive in looking at, did any aspects of this particular change in operation work? Did any fail? Was it perhaps at the front end? Did we market this improperly, but it was still a good idea? So we're not afraid of failure, and we like to go through it. We learn more from that than we do from success.
Right.
Frankly.
So you're not afraid then. Remember the book, Who Moved My Cheese?
Yes, sure.
Okay, so you're not afraid then to learn from your mistakes and just keep sniffing and scurrying like the two little mice through the and just look for more cheese.
Exactly.
And just find something that works.
Exactly.
Here is one rule that you're not saying, but I'm hearing. And that is, don't fall in love with your proposition. If your proposition that you lay down for your campaign doesn't work, don't fall in love with it and be afraid to give it up.
Correct. When we first entered the business, of course, we looked at how everyone else operated. We find that most people are concentrated in newsprint advertising. But for us, it really wasn't that effective. We've had much greater success with our email.
Your email.
Yes.
Yes. Interesting. So basically what you're doing then is really a more hands-on through email or through personal touch.
More intimate.
More intimate to know your customer base. We got a minute left.
Okay.
We got a minute left. This wine is excellent. This wine's from Tuscany.
Yes. Now this one I brought not because it's a new entrant or from a new region. This is from a winemaker that has been around for a long time. This is a new entry for them, though.
This wine is elegant.
Isn't it wonderful?
This wine is elegant. This is a marvelous wine. It's superb. This wine is on a higher level of Italian culture.
Correct.
I love this wine. All the wines that you brought today were just marvelous, delicious wines. Terrific.
Well, and I think what you'll appreciate about this is that all of these wines are well under $20.
Well, that's great. Let's not get into that.
Okay.
But that's great to show that they're cost effective. That's great. Well, listen, I do appreciate you taking the time to come down and share with us everything.
Thank you so much.
Ed Wassmer, terrific. You're a gentleman, terrific guy, and we have to break some bread together.
We will.
All right? And pop a cork.
Absolutely.
Other than on television.
That would be terrific.
Okay?
Thank you.
We'll do that. I hope you enjoyed yourself today.
I had a great time. Thanks,
And
Harvey.
my pleasure. And I hope that you enjoyed yourself today and got just a little perspective on an individual who went from one business out here to another business over there and used the same kind of principles to try to learn and not be afraid to make mistakes and to learn from your mistakes. And it worked out great. And also he brought some pretty neat wines. Okay, so Dr. Harvey Pass is saying, like Ed Wassmer, whatever you do it with passion. And until then, we'll see you again next time. Toast, my friend.
Cheers.